Awesome. So now we've created a GitHub. So I'm actually using a GitHub that I used in my last course. So that's why I have all these repositories over here. Now, in order to create a new discussion over the Foundry full course F23, let's go over to the discussions tab. We'll hit new discussion and we'll hit general. And I'll say something like test discussion. Be like, feel free to say hello here. Start discussion. Now I'm going to show you a question that's formatted poorly. And I want you to never, ever, ever ask a question like this. And if you see somebody ask a question like this, please help them format their question correctly. Hey, why my code not be good? And then let's just have it be an issue like this, right? What's wrong with this? Okay, well, why my code not be good obviously isn't clear what's going on. The code isn't formatted well, and even an AI would have a hard time answering this. So let's fix this to be a little bit better. As we know, we want to copy the exact error we're getting. So we'll copy the error, we'll go back, we'll say, I am receiving this error. We'll do the 3 little backticks, paste our error right in here, like that. Actually, let's be even more explicit. I'm receiving this error while compiling. Here's my code, 3 backticks. We'll put Solidity here. We'll copy the whole line that is erroring, paste it in here. Can someone help me figure out what the issue is? Right, and you see how this is much, much better, right? We have these 2 blocks that pop up because we did the backticks. And the secret is that this is going to get you a much better answer from an AI as well, right? If we edit this, we can copy the whole thing in Markdown, go over to ChatGPT, paste it in, zoom out a little bit, and we're going to get actually an answer. Hey, you're receiving this error because you're trying to create an instance of aggregator v interface without providing the necessary argument, blah, blah, blah. Oh, and it actually gives an updated version of that, but it helps us out here. So format your questions correctly. You will get better answers from both AIs and humans. And I know I'm spending a long time on this, but I really, really need you to understand that the secret to prompt engineering is actually just being able to ask better formatted questions with human beings. And it's better for interacting with human beings as well. Now, the other thing that I did really well here was I only posted the relevant code to the error that I was getting. What we see a lot of people do is they just copy paste their entire code base into here. This is not very helpful, as it's going to make somebody who wants to help you their job a lot harder. If they have to read your entire code base, right? If we reply here, this is so much more reading for them to do. It's going to take them a lot longer and they might not actually read it. And we didn't actually highlight this with the backticks. And it goes the same thing with AI. If you give your AI too much text, it can't read all of the text because, again, some of these AIs have limitations in how much text they can read. So it's the exact same thing with working with human beings. So feel free to take some time to either in ChatGPT or whatever AI you're using, or in this test discussion forum to post some well-formatted questions. And remember, you can use AI to help you get those formatted questions in Markdown. Be sure to ask ChatGPT to give you the output in Markdown. So if you haven't worked with Markdown before, that's okay. You'll learn as you go along. But one of the biggest differences, especially when working with Markdown, that's going to make your code so much more readable, and I 100% need you to always do this whenever you ask questions, is you see how this got like some syntax highlighting in this above question? Well, if we go click edit again, we can actually see why. Up here, we did those 3 backticks, and then we typed the word Solidity. When you do these 3 backticks in your questions, if you type the word or you type the language next to the first 3 backticks, it'll actually add some formatting to make it more readable. So if we scroll down to this poorly formatted question, you can see that this is just all white and like impossible to read. It would be at least slightly better if we hit edit, and next to these 3 backticks, we wrote Solidity. If this was like Java code or Python code, we could write Python or Java or whatever, but since this is Solidity, we'll write Solidity. I'll hit update, and you can see that it is substantially nicer and it is much more readable now. So even though this is still a bad question, obviously, because we just copy pasted all of our code, it's at least much more readable. So anytime you do a code block like this of any of your code, absolutely 100% be sure to do the 3 backticks and then the language of the block of code. So just remember this, there are no bad questions, but there are poorly formatted questions. Make your questions well formatted for both human beings and for AI. And then most importantly, be sure to join these forums. And like I've said 100 times, interact with these people, interact and help and give back. The more people that use and are good at the tool that you're working with, the more likely that they're going to help you sometime in the future. And this is how I've met so many people in the industry, is just giving back and interacting with other people. So whenever you ask a question, especially in the beginning, because in the beginning, you're going to have more questions than not, be sure to at least try to go back and answer a question. Think of it as question and answer debt. Every time you answer a question, make a little mental note and say, in the future, I need to at least try to answer one of somebody else's questions. This is how we grow and move so much faster.